very, very close. Okay. Welcome to my live. So today I'm going to talk about summer styles, and the first thing I want to cover is fabrics, fabric content and fabrics, and what's good for summer styles. Um, so I think like before I go into styles for the summer, let's talk about what is good for fabrications. So I think like there is a lot to be said about summer styles, and I think that's like a lot of it could be discussed in style aesthetics of that. But before we go into that, what are the good summer fabrics? So I think the very first thing I want to cover is linen. Linen is just basically the best fabric to wear for summer. It's very breathable, and also it wicks fabric very easily. Um, but one of the characteristics that people don't like about linen is the fact that it wrinkles. Um, but I think that's one of the characteristics about linen that's really good, because it adds character to the fabric, you know. And depending on the style and how it's made up, like the creases, um, is one of the characteristics of the design. If it has a really good design element to it, you know, the wrinkles would not be such an issue. Again, I think like linen is the best fabric for summer to wear, because it's a very, just the very nature of the fiber itself is very porous. And because it's a very porous fabric, it absorbs moisture very easily, but it also, like the moisture that, you know, the fabric traps in, it also wicks and evaporates very quickly. So that's why linen is one of the best fabrics for summer. I know often, you know, a lot of people, if you see online, it's, you know, a lot of people say it's cotton. And I think that why people say it's cotton is because the nature of cotton doesn't wrinkle as easily as linen, and that's why a lot of people say that, you know, cotton is the best fabric. But in terms of the fabric itself, linen is by far the best, because just the fact that it absorbs, it takes in all the sweat that you have, you know, and it takes quite a bit of it before you can actually feel the sweat. So that's why linen is just the best. But beyond that is because it evaporates the moisture so fast, like because the very nature of the fabric is such a porous fabric that what it takes in, it also releases just as fast, you know. That's why linen is it's great. And because, you know, linen absorbs and takes away, even though the nature of the fabric is supposed to wrinkle, unless you're in a very dry area, like even if it wrinkles, it releases the wrinkles very easily too. So I think that that's why linen is just by far, in my opinion, is the best fabric for summer. Then we go to cotton, right? Because everyone says cotton is the best, and you know, if you see online, you go to any search online, you can see that, you know, a lot of people recommend cotton, and I think that the reason why they recommend cotton over linen is because cotton doesn't wrinkle as much, you know, and it's also because the very nature of cotton is a very it doesn't bend as fast. It's not as porous as a fiber, you know, as it is in it's in cotton. So I think like cotton is just one of those things like it's very easy to wear, and and because it's a very easy to wear, and the way that people have used cotton is there's more options. You can have chambray, you can have broadcloth, you can have poplin. There's a variety of how the fiber is made up into different fabrications over linen. And I think that's why there's a lot of people recommend cotton more. And I think it's also another very interesting thing is because so many brands use cotton more often than linen, and because a lot of these sites also have to promote products, and a lot you can find more products made in cotton over linen, um, as a general rule. And I think that's why a lot of people just promote cotton over linen. But I could definitely say, having worked in the industry for over 30 years, that you know cotton is by far, in my opinion, a lot more like wearable for the summer. Just the fact that it takes in moisture and it takes away the moisture just as fast. So I think that's why I really recommend like linen. If you have to go for a summer fabric, linen is by far the best. It's also a very cooling fabric to wear. So because it takes in the moisture and releases it, you don't feel that wetness that you feel sometimes with cotton. Um, you know, so I think definitely like if you are looking for summer styles, I would definitely recommend looking for styles in linen over cotton. And because of very nature, like everyone thinks that linen is just one of those fabric that wrinkles, and depending on the quality of the linen, um, some linen, like lower quality linen, by far, yes, it does wrinkle and doesn't, it does hold in the wrinkles a lot more. But if you get like a high quality linen, and because it's a higher yarn twist, um, it doesn't wrinkle as bad as the lower quality linen. Um, then you know, again, like if I had to pick two options, you know, two summer fabrics, I would definitely say by far like pick linen, pick cotton. Don't pick silk. Silk is a very heat retention fabric, and anyone who recommends silk for the summer, I would say don't listen to them, because by the very nature of itself, like cotton itself, silk itself is just a moisture absorbing fabric. So if you are gonna look for styles for the summer, definitely first choice is always gonna be linen. Second choice is gonna be cotton. So those are the two fabrications that I have recommend for the summer if you're looking for summer styles. Um, and then the third fabric I would say to look out for is rayon. And rayon, depending on the quality of the rayon, I would say that, of course, like anything that's high quality is also going to be more expensive. And again, like not all fabrics are made the same in equal standing, and it all depends on how many filaments are in the fiber, right? So if you have like two filaments into a yarn before it's woven into a fabric, then of course it's not gonna be as high quality as something that have like 3 to 5 strands of fiber into the yarn before it's woven into a fabric. Um, Sorry, I have allergies acting up. So again, like rayon is a good alternative if you want to find something that is um, a like rayon's a very interesting characteristics of a fabric, because it's not like 100% um, a natural fabric, but it's also not a synthetic either. It's a combination of both. Um, and the good thing about rayon is it has a very silky hand. And again, like I don't recommend silk for the summer. So if you're trying to find an alternative to silk, then my suggestion is to find like something that's a rayon or something that's a rami. A rami hat is also, it's very similar to linen. So if you're looking for something with a silky hand, then definitely go find something that's a rayon and a rami, because rami is a very porous fiber. Also, it's very similar to linen. It's even more porous than linen. Um, so if you want to look for something with silky hand, again, like silk is a very heat retention fabric, so I don't recommend silk for the summer. If you're looking for styles for the summer, I would say definitely go. Like there are four fabrics that I recommend. The first is linen. The second is cotton. The third is rayon, and the last is rami. And the reason why I don't recommend rami so much is because rami is not a very durable fabric. It actually has to be blended into another fiber before it becomes more durable, whether it's cotton or wool or a synthetic. But it also has a very luxurious silky hand. So that's why I recommend rami as an alternative to silk, because again, like silk is a very heat retention fabric. So if you wear silk in the summer, if you sweat, the sweat does not wick away from the fabric. That's why if you wear silk in the summer, you feel very damp, and it's a very uncomfortable fabric to wear for the summer, unless you're indoor with AC. Um, it's not a very good fabric, especially like for New York City. I definitely know, like I would never wear silk in New York City, because number one is it's a very humid environment here, and then two is it doesn't, like the whatever sweat gets trapped into silk, it doesn't evaporate into the environment. It actually retains all the moisture, because silk is not in itself a very porous fabric. It's actually a very dense fiber. So if you are looking for summer styles, again, I recommend looking for styles in linen, looking for styles in cotton, looking for styles in rayon, looking for styles in rami. Don't look for stuff in silk. Silk is a very, very, very like heat retention fabric. Um, so definitely don't wear silk. If you want to wear, that's why, like, if you look online, like that's why silk pajamas in the winter is a really great thing, because it retains heat. Um, sorry, I have very bad allergies. So trying to make it through this live. And hopefully, you guys kind of have to bear with me as I'm suffering through seasonal allergies in the summer. But I'm trying to help you, like, um, recommend like summer styles. And I don't want to recommend styles yet. I will do that in the next live. But in talking this about summer styles, I want to talk about fibers first, before I talk about styles. So again, if you are looking for styles for the summer, I would definitely recommend looking for fabric content first before looking for styles. And again, like always look for styles in linen, cotton, rayon, and rami. Those are the four fabrics that I recommend for summer styles. And then the fabrications that I want to clear up the misconception about is people always think like you can't wear wool in the summer, and there are wools that you can wear in the summer, because depending on how the wool is made up, there's actually wool that's all seasonal. um, and if you work in the office environment that have blasting AC, air conditioner, then wearing an all season wool is really good, because wool again is a natural fiber. So being said, like it does, absorb moisture, but also the good thing about wool is also wicks moisture. So it does have some evaporating qualities in the fiber itself. So that's why I recommend, if you're gonna wear wool in the office, look for all seasonal wool. And they're all lightweight wools that are so light that you would never think, that is a wool fabric that you could wear in the summer. So again, like, um, wool is a good office fabric to wear. Um, so just keep that in mind. And I want to debunk some of the myths that, people have about fabrics. And again, I think like a lot of people who say, you can wear silk in the summer, I could say like they must be smoking something, because if you know the fabric content and how it's made up, you would know that silk itself is like, it's the to me it's the worst natural fiber fabric to wear in the summer, because it retains heat and it doesn't, and whatever moisture gets trapped into the fabric, it does not, wick, and it does not evaporate, from the fiber. So you're basically sweating into something that is gonna be damp, that you're gonna be wearing for like a while. So I think that's how sometimes, like, um, for me, I think like sometimes like that's how people get sick, because you're wearing something that's like soaked in and damp, and you're wearing, for hours in the air conditioner. So it's quite uncomfortable, and that's how people get sick. I think wearing silk is not a good thing. So um, definitely, like, for all your silk styles, I would just put it away for the summer, especially if you live in a very hot climate, um, and also for a hot and very moist climate like here in New York City. I definitely do not recommend silk at all. Like, definitely wear something that is made of linen, made of cotton, made of rayon, made of ramie. And again, ramie, you have to be very careful with the ramie. You have to look for ramie that is, blended with another fiber, like such as cotton or wool is really good, because again, like those two fabrics, um, they have more durability in it, because ramie isn't a is not a very durable fabric, But what's great about ramie is it's the most like moisture wicking fabric out there, Unfortunately, it's not a very durable fabric. So that's why when I recommend ramie, you have to get it as a blend into something that is a more the fiber itself is a more durable fiber, such as something as wool or cotton. Um, so again, like, we're talking about fabric today, the good fabrics for summer styles that you should be looking out for. And in case of you, some of you have are joining and you missed some of it, it is on. It is gonna be posted in my live. I'm doing simultaneously the live here on TikTok and on YouTube. So this way you catch on YouTube the replay, and that's why I'm hoping that, if you guys, want to catch my live, that you guys can catch it. I'm also doing a new time, because again, I think like the 4 p.m. live, right, that I've been doing is also like, well, it's a suitable time for me. I think it's not a suitable time for a lot of people. I'm hoping that now that I'm doing it, it's lunchtime here in New York, and I don't know where you are, but I'm trying to make the time a more adaptive and more accessible to you, the audience who has been following me, and also my time slot. So I hope that this new time slot works out better than my old time slot at 4 p.m. But again, I can only do lives on Fridays, so if you guys are joining me, um, thank you. So again, this live is just about fabrications for summer styles, the good uh, the good fabrications that you should look out for. And again, these are things I recommend to look out for if you are curating things for your personal style, things that you're building out your wardrobe in. And I always talk about, personal style and wardrobe curation. I don't talk about, buying into trends or anything like that. So that's why I really want to talk about fabrications for summer styles. And again, like linen, I'm only talking about linen in terms of the fiber right now. And having said that, like the linen can be made into different fabrications. So linen could be made into a voile, it could be made into a broadcloth, it could be made into a poplin. So there's other fabrications that you can make it in. Um, but the fiber content that you're looking out for, you know those care labels that you look out for when you buy something. So look at those content, those care labels of the content, and make sure it says 100% linen. I think that a lot of times there are synthetic fabrics that are made to look like linen, but it's still synthetic, and a lot of it's like polyester. Um, I don't recommend polyester because I think like not a lot of polyesters are made in such a way that is made durable. Because it's a man-made fabric, a lot of it's made very cheaply and poorly, and also it has a very toxic, output, into the environment. Um, but there is actually one polyester fabric if you are like wearing athleisure wear or looking for things, um, things that are like a little more sporty. So so I think like I'm not sure quite sure, but I think maybe like a decade ago, maybe even longer. So Nike had made a fabric called Dry Fit. It's made of polyester. It's one of the only fabric I could say that I recommend if you're looking for like a polyester fabric for the summer. And this is contingent on your budget, right? So if you can afford like something that's more on like the high end side, and you have to go with something that's a synthetic, I would say go find a polyester and go find it with it's called dry fit, and make sure it's dry fit and not something else, because there's a lot of dupes about this in this fabric that's dry fit, that's not as good as a dry fit. um, so Nike had made this fabric dry fit out of polyester. um, the way they made the fabric, it's moisture absorbing and it's also moisture wicking. So that means like whatever like the fabric takes in moisture, it also evaporates very fast. So if you're looking for a polyester fabric, which I don't really recommend a lot of polyesters, but if you are going to look for it, look for Nike had made this polyester called Dry Fit. It is an athletic fabric, and I think like there are other uses from other fashion brands have used it in different ways. So if you're looking for something that's like a polyester made that's like good for the summer, go for something that's dry fit. And dry fit is like I think it's a patent moisture, right? Moisture wicking fabric. You can look that up a little bit more if you're interested in it. But again, like I'm only talking about things like fabrications I recommend for the summer, for summer styles. And again, I don't want to talk about styles until I talk about what the styles are made of. And the styles that I am talking about, that I want to really emphasize, is the fabric that you should look out for. And again, these are things you could find very easily. Like if you look at your clothes and you look at the size seam, usually there's a care label at the side that tells you what the content is. And if you're looking for a good fiber content for your clothes for the summer, again, the first thing I recommend is linen is the best for the summer, and then followed by cotton, and then rayon, and then rami. And if you have to go with a synthetic, I would say go with the dry fit. Um, Again, that's like a patent thing that Nike had made into like an athleisure wear fabric, but it's very moisture absorbing, and it's also very moisture wicking. And when I may say wicking, it's like evaporates. It takes in the moisture and it evaporates the moisture very fast. So if you are someone who like lives in an environment and and look, we all sweat, so and we want to find a fabric and clothes that is good for us to wear for the summer. So again, like if you are looking for styles that are good, and these and the reason why I recommend these fabrics is because again, like I am really trying to promote you into this mindset of looking out for high quality clothes, looking for like good styles, what are and the thing about things like last and high quality clothes is what is it made of, and what it's made of is always the fabric content, right? So again, like always look for things that are linen, look for things that are cotton, look for things are rayon, and look for things are rami, and then last thing is the dry fit polyester. um, Again, like if you are if you do work in an office environment that have really blasting AC, then definitely look for something that's like all season wool, because all season wool, because it's a natural fiber fabric. It takes in the moisture and it also releases the moisture, so it's a quite comfortable fabric to wear in any styles that you want. And again, I don't recommend silk. I think silk is a very bad fiber for um, the summer. Like silk is one of those heat retention fabrics. So if you are gonna wear silk, you know, if you have blasting AC, then sure. But if you're out in the heat, and even for a minute, you'll see like how hot you'll get if you wear silk. Um, okay. I think that's it. It wraps up this live. Thank you for joining me. And next week I will talk about styles for the summer. Anyway, thank you, and I will see you in the next live. Bye.